This dish takes me back a real while ago. It was one of the first dishes we did in culinary school, the Eggplant Parmigiana. And this was the Southern Italian class. It's a favorite of mine, and welcome to this edition of Majid's Kitchen, where we make a delicious eggplant parmigiana. I have already made a beautiful tomato sugo. You can find this recipe in the playlist, where you can make your own tasty tomato sauce. And as always, let's brush through the ingredients. Eggplant being the main ingredient here. We'll be doing a breading station, which consists of breadcrumbs, eggs, and some flour. Now, if you have any gluten allergies or prefer not to have anything with flour, you can always grill or bake your eggplants after you brush them with olive oil and make your eggplant parmesan that way. I have some basil and chopped parsley. These are fresh herbs that I'm going to add to these breadcrumbs. Now these breadcrumbs are panko breadcrumbs, but I'm going to just blitz them so they're a little bit more fine, and I'll add in some of these fresh herbs. Basil will be layered in between the eggplant with the tomato sauce, as I mentioned earlier, some mozzarella and some pecorino or good quality Parmesan cheese. Olive oil, of course. Just to explain how you can cut your eggplant. Now, if you're using an elongated dish, square, rectangle, oval, you can cut your eggplant lengthwise. Or if you're going to use something round, you could also cut your eggplant like this. Okay, let's begin with the process. Begin by taking your breadcrumbs and adding some of the herbs to this. Give it a shake. So there you have it. It's not very smooth and a nice breadcrumb consistency. I will be using this dish to make the eggplant parmesan. So I'm going to be cutting the eggplant into rounds, and then we'll begin with the steps for processing the eggplant. When I make some of my other eggplant dishes, I sometimes remove the skin, but for this dish I'll be leaving the skin on, and this is going to help keep the eggplant together when we fry it. Okay, so to cut it, you don't want it too thin, so about ½ inch will be fine. So there we go. Cutting it too thin will break the eggplant when cooking it. So set up your breading station as follows. Flour to dredge your product in, eggs to give it an egg wash so that your breadcrumbs can stick to it. So this was the panko breadcrumbs that I put into a spice grinder just to make it a little more fine with some fresh herbs. So what we can do now is season a little bit of the flour and then take our eggplant and begin the breading. Breadcrumbs, Okay, breading will be as follows. Very simple procedure. Take your eggplant, shake off the excess flour, get it in the egg wash, give it a shake, and to the breadcrumbs. There you go. Ready for frying. And this is what it looks like after breading. Let's begin frying the eggplant. Gently place your eggplant into the oil. After a minute or two, check your eggplant to ensure that it cooks evenly and it has a beautiful golden brown color. It's ready to come out. Place it on a tray lined with paper towel to absorb any excess oil. Keep working the rest of the eggplant. So now that we've done with the eggplant part, the breading and the frying, it's all downhill from here. Okay, so let's go to layering and making up this dish. So I'm using this sauce that I made at home. Like I said, check the playlist and you can make your own rich and tasty tomato sauce with this recipe, or tomato sugo. So start with a layer at the bottom and then layer your eggplant in there. And then we'll go again with another layer of eggplant. Okay, press firmly down so that the tomato sauce and the eggplant meet. Okay, so it depends how deep you want it. You can lay 2, 3, 4 layers if you like. And that, dear friends, was the oven being preheated, ready for the eggplant parmigiana to bake. Take some of the basil leaves and you can just tear it and place it right on top like this. Some of that cheese. Just a little for now. And just before we take it out of the oven, we'll top it off or complete it with a little more cheese. And that will go into an oven 360 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 to 40 minutes. A beautiful eggplant parmigiana. If you have a square or rectangular dish, you can use it like this. You know, you could make it easier by cutting your eggplant kind of lengthwise. Okay, so kind of spread it around like this, and then get your maybe the biggest piece down in there. And you can also cut pieces of eggplant so that you can fit them in to get sort of a layer in there. So just like this. Right. Okay. On the top layer, I'm just going to put the tomato sauce right on top, like this. And we're going to bake that. And on this one, I'll put the cheese in at the end. So that will ensure that the cheese also doesn't get hard when you take it out of the oven from continuous melting. Alright, so that will go into the oven too. And a little snack for the cook. So now this is baked for about half an hour, and I'm just going to complete it with a layer of cheese, and I'm going to do the same with this one. I recommend putting the cheese on towards the end of the cook. Okay, and then we'll finish it with a little bit of parmesan. Put it in the oven till the cheese melts, and then I'm going to reveal to you what the eggplant parmigiana looks like after we cut into it. Right, I think it's looking excellent. Here it is after 40 minutes of oven time. Always let the eggplant rest for a few minutes after taking it out the oven. And there you have it. Eggplant Parmigiana, brought to you by Majid's Kitchen. See the layers? Closer visual of how it's layered. Cheese on top. Is always visually appealing.